A very good afternoon to one and all. I am very happy that a large number has participated in this event, which has been conceptualized, planned, and being executed by the students of School of Technology Management, NMIMS Indore campus. It gives us immense pride when students think so creatively and plan it so meticulously. So congratulations to the student team of STME and NMIMS Indore. Today's session, as you all are aware, is on the programming language Java. And you would learn the nitty-gritty of the language in the coming few hours that you will be exposed to it. I just want to give you one tip which will help you in understand and apply that language better. So whenever you are learning any programming language, learn it in the context for which it has been designed. So as you are aware that Java is an object-oriented language, and any problem posed to you, if you have to solve it using object orientation, then it has its own mechanism of design and analysis, design and implementation. You are straight away jumping to the implementation nitty-gritties. But while doing so, if you can understand the object orientation around it, your ability to solve the problem would definitely improve. So all the best and happy learning for the coming few hours. And once again, congratulations to the student team of NMIMS Indore campus. Thank you.
Thank you for the introduction, Suyash. Hello all. I hope everyone is doing fine. My name is Isha Chouhan and I'm here with my friend Murtaza, and we will be taking today's session on Java. Without any further ado, let's get started. Before we go on to Java, let us understand what is a program or what is a programming language. A program is basically a set of instructions that are given to a computer to perform some operations. Those operations can be as simple as comparing two values or performing any kind of arithmetic operations like addition, subtraction, etc. While executing the program, some data is converted into an output that we want or desire, or we want to see on the computer screen. These programs are written using programming languages, which is a formal language used to communicate instructions through the computer. Programming languages can be machine language, assembly language, high-level language, system language, or scripting language. Java is a high-level language, and by high-level language, I mean it is understood by humans, and it is quite similar to English. Like we have different languages to communicate with each other, like Hindi, English, French, we have different languages to communicate with the computer, like C, C++, Java, Python, etc., which I think most of us know about now.
Now that we've seen what basically a programming language is, let us proceed to get to know one of the most popular, or rather the most popular programming language in the world, Java. So now, what is Java? It's obviously a programming language, a more secured and robust than most of the other languages, along with a strong memory management system. Even today, its security is highly regarded. Sun Microsystems was the organization behind its development in 1990s, 1995 to be precise. As they say, accident is the mother of invention. In case of Java, it is even true. An interesting fact about the history of Java is that it was created accidentally. It was originally designed for interactive television. The engineers at Sun Microsystems were trying to develop an advanced set-top box by cleaning up C++ when they accidentally invented Java. Also, the technology was deemed to be much more advanced for a time like the 90s, and thus Java became one of the most prominent computer languages we know today. In 2010, Sun Microsystems was acquired by Oracle, the company which currently owns Java. Initially they called it Oak, but then renamed it to Java because Oak was already registered by an IT company. As such, there is no reason for Java to be named Java. A team of people just suggested some random names and Java was chosen. The main goal behind the development of Java was to create a language pretty much similar to the syntax of C, but with more functionalities and much more simplicity. Now, you might be wondering that we already had C, C++. Both the languages were quite successful in their own ways. Several applications were being made using them. Then why did they even create Java? What was the purpose behind it? How is it different from those two? Well, to start with, it sounds much cooler. Apart from that, Java is a platform-independent language, which in my opinion is by far the most amazing feature of Java. Now, what does being platform independent mean? It means that once you write a code in Java, you can run the same code on any platform, any operating system, be it Windows, Linux, Mac OS, or even Android. Now, how does Java provide such an amazing functionality? Let's see in the flowchart. First, you save your Java code as the .java extension, and then you need to compile the code. This job is done by a program known as the compiler. Now, what does compilation mean? I'll explain you in short. As you may know, everything in a computer is represented by a series of ones and zeros. The computer doesn't understand anything other than that. Now, definitely you still need human beings to write the codes for us. Putting everything in zeros and ones is quite impossible. That's why high-level languages like Java with English-like syntax were created. Now, what a compiler does is that it converts this code from a language which a human can understand to a language that a computer can understand, or the bytecode, or the .class extension. Another thing that a compiler does is that it checks for syntax errors. Syntax errors are grammatical errors for a computer language. So that was compilation. Now this same Java code can be run on any platform using something known as the JVM, or the Java Virtual Machine, for that particular operating system. Now this JVM further converts the bytecode to the binary or the machine language which the computer understands and runs the program. Too complicated, isn't it? Luckily, we do not have to deal with what's going on internally. We just have to focus on writing our code. This is the concept of abstraction, which we'll learn in the next slide.
As the name suggests, object-oriented programming, or OOP, refers to languages that use object in programming. There are mainly 4 features of OOP. If all these 4 features are present in programming, the programming is called perfect object-oriented programming. These features include abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance, and polymorphism. Let's take an example and consider a mobile manufacturing company as an object. Each object can be different based on their characteristics. Now coming to class, and a class in OOP is a plan which describes the object. We call it a blueprint of how the object should be represented. Mobile can be a class which has some attributes like profile type, IMEI number, processor, SIM card, and some more. It can have operations like dial, receive, and send message. Now coming to data abstraction. Data abstraction is a property in which only the essential details are displayed to the user and the non-essential units are not displayed to the user. In this example, we can see that clicking on the green button while picking up a call actually sends a signal to the calling person's mobile, but we are unaware of that activity. We only see that green button. We don't see the signal going to the caller's phone. That is known as data abstraction. Encapsulation is defined as a protective shield that prevents the data from being accessed by the code outside the shield. It says how much access should be given to a particular detail. When we switch on a Bluetooth, I'm able to connect to another mobile or Bluetooth enabled device. Let's say if I'm connecting to Murtaza's mobile by Bluetooth, I'll just be able to share photos, videos, and music with him. But I will not be able to access other mobile features of his phone like dialing a number or accessing inbox, etc. This is known as encapsulation. Polymorphism can be defined as the ability of using the same name for doing different things. Let's say we have a camera or a mobile phone, Samsung mobile phone, with 5 megapixel camera. That 5 megapixel camera will work with both panoramic mode and normal mode. So that 5 megapixel camera will be the same name used for doing different things. Now coming to inheritance. Inheritance is the mechanism in Java by which one class is allowed to inherit the features of an already pre-existing class. For example, let's say a mobile company A came out in 2000 and a mobile company B came out in 2001. So that mobile company B will take the basic features of mobile company A and add on with new features. For example, it takes the basic features like calling, sending message, receiving message as its basic features from mobile company A, and it will add on its new features. So that is known as inheritance.
Now coming to the applications of Java, let's discuss what is desktop GUI. Desktop GUI, we can see wherever the technology is concerned, we see Java around us. Desktop GUI is one of them. We see applications like Acrobat Reader, ThinkFree, Media Player, antiviruses. These are all desktop GUIs that are made up by Java. Then comes mobile application like Simple Calendar, Netflix, QR Reader, Google Earth, etc. are made using Java. Enterprise application is a large software system which is made to satisfy the need of an organization rather than an individual user. For example, apps for business corporations, school, banks, government, etc. Then comes scientific applications which are related to research, science, medical science, space, astronautics, etc. Then we have web-based application, for example, online forms, shopping carts, Gmail, Google Sheet, and many more. Cloud-based tools like Oracle Java Cloud Services. And then of course, our favorite games that we see on our Play stores are also made by the help of Java.
Now, we provided you with the link of the JDK or the Java Development Kit in the pre-read. I hope that all of you have downloaded it and installed it. Even if you haven't, I'll show you how to install it, and you can do it right now. First, you'll have to double click on the JDK setup file that you've just downloaded. After that, a dialog box saying do you want to allow this app to make changes to your device will appear. Click on yes. Click on next again, and again click on next. Do not change the installation folder. Or even if you are, then remember where you're installing your JDK. After that, it will install it by itself. Then click on close. Your JDK has been successfully installed. Now we'll show you how to start programming, and for that we'll use the command prompt for the first program. Before that, we'll do something known as setting the path. Now what does this mean? This means that we have to tell the command prompt from where does it have to collect the commands required for the compilation and running the program. For that, we'll provide command prompt with the path having all the important necessary commands. So let's proceed. First, I'll show you that my path hasn't been set. For that, you'll open command prompt, and then you'll have to type Java to check if your path has been set. Here I get an error saying that Java is not recognized as an internal or external command. This may be because of two reasons. One, that you haven't installed your JDK yet, or second, even if you have installed your JDK, your path hasn't been set. So I'll close this and show you how to set the path. For that, first you'll have to go to the folder where you've installed your JDK. In my case, it is in this PC, C drive, then in program files. Here you'll get many options, but you have to select the Java folder. Double click on Java folder, on the JDK folder. Here again you'll see lots of folders, but you need the path for the bin folder. Double click on the bin folder, then click on the top address bar. It will get highlighted by blue color. Then you'll have to copy the path. Now, where do we need to paste this path? I'll show you. Open your computer again, or rather you need to open your properties. You can do this by right clicking on this PC and then properties. Here on the top left corner you will see 4 options, but you need to select advanced system settings. After that, a System Properties dialog box will appear. Under the Startup and Recovery options, you need to click Environment Variables. In the below dialog box saying System Variables, you need to scroll down to find the Path variable. Here, select on the Path variable, then click on Edit. After that, we are giving it a new path, that's why I will create a new path. Click on New. Here, paste the path which we've copied. Click OK, again OK, again OK. Now the path has been set. Let's check. For that, you'll have to restart your command prompt. Yes. Now again we'll type Java to check if the path has been set. If the path has been set, you will get many options. Let's see. Yes, the path has been set. We can start programming. Now that we've installed Java on our systems and are all geared up for writing our first program in the command prompt, let us first look at the basics of Java in brief. First is object. If we consider the real world, we can see a lot of objects around us. Cars, humans, animals, or even the computer or the mobile phone you're using right now is an object. Every object has something known as a state and behavior. State of any object are the properties it possesses, and the behavior of any object is the function that it can perform. Let us consider an example of a human being. The state of a human being is its height, weight, complexion, etc. And the behavior is eating, walking, talking, etc. Similarly, a software object also has a state and a behavior. The state of the object is again the properties it has, and the behavior will be the functions it can perform. Second is class. Now what is class? Imagine a building is to be built. You don't just directly take some bricks and cement and start doing the hard work. What you first do is that you create a blueprint, a model, or a template based on which you start building. Consider the building here to be an object we just discussed, and the blueprint you used will then be your class. So basically, a class is a blueprint that defines the structure or the working of an object. So using a class, you can create an object. Variable. Variables are nothing but just a name that is used to store any value. It helps in making the code generic, meaning it allows us to use the same code again and again without retyping it. For example, if we need to find out if 10 is an even number or an odd number, then we just simply divide 10 by 2. And if the remainder comes out to be 0, 10 is an even number. And if the remainder comes out to be 1, 10 is odd. Now what if we need to find that if one of the numbers between 1 to 10 is odd or even? We do not know the number. In this case, we can use a variable to store any of the values between 1 to 10 and check for odd or even. The value of the variable can change, as the name suggests. Keywords. Keywords are the predefined words of any programming language. Like in English we have the alphabet, similarly in the programming language we have the keywords. Now keywords are reserved words and are only used when they are required to perform a certain task. They cannot be used anywhere. Comments. Comments can be understood as the programmer's personal notes. They are written to explain the code in a normal English language so that even a non-programmer could understand that what is going on. Comments aren't executed or read by the compiler. Every programming language has a different syntax for declaring a comment, or writing a comment rather. In Java, it's mostly done by using 2 forward slashes.
Let's get started with our first program. This program we'll be doing on command prompt so that you can get the right idea how it is actually done. Then for later programs, we will be doing it on online compiler. If you're still uncomfortable using command prompt, we've put the link of the online compiler in the chat box. You can always use the online compiler. Right now, I want you to open Notepad, just like that, and start typing with me. I hope everybody has opened their notepads. Let's start. I'm gonna make a class with hello. I'm writing class Hello. Remember to keep the letter H capital because the first letter of the class is always capital. Then we start the scope. Here I'm starting the scope using curly braces. Remember, we have to always open the scope as to write the code. The code will run in the scope only. Let's start writing public, static, void, main. I'll be telling you what the meaning of this line is. Please just type it with me right now. And then we open small braces and write string args with square brackets. And then close the small brackets. Now what is public? Public is an access modifier which specifies from where and who can access the method. Making the main method public makes it globally available. Now coming to static. Static is a keyword. The main method is a static so that JVM can use it without making an object of the class, about which we learn in next session. As main method doesn't return anything, it returns type is void. Void means nothing. Coming to main. The main method in Java is the kind of an entry point of the program. Remember, it's not a keyword. Then coming to string args. String args stores Java command line argument and it is an array of type java.lang.string class. Now continuing with the program, I'll open one more scope and write the print statement, something that used to print something on the screen. We write system.out.println, where the S is capital of system. Remember, it's a class. And I'm writing ln, print ln, because I want to go into the next line. You can avoid writing ln. Ln is just to go into the next line. Then we again open small braces and then we write the string in it. Remember, we'll learn about string more in the next session, but for now we write the string into double inverted commas so that it can be printed as it is. So we write hello world. Since it's our first program, hello world is written. And then we close the small braces and type a semicolon. Semicolon is used to terminate a sentence. Please remember it. It's very important to terminate a statement with semicolon. Then we close our scope. And then we again close the scope of main method. That's all. This is our first program. Let's save it on the desktop. Remember to save it on the desktop so that it's easy for both of us. Then we save it, and remember to save it with the same name as class name. Here we have class name as hello with H capital. So we'll save it as that only, capital H ELLO.java. Remember, .java is the extension to save Java file or Java program. We save it on the desktop. Alright, I hope everybody has saved it with me. Right. Now I want you to go into the search bar and search command prompt. We open the command prompt. As we have seen that we have installed Java and we have also set the path. Now we change our directory to desktop. So for that we write cd desktop in the command prompt. Now to compile, now we are in desktop as you can see here. Now to compile this, we write Java C. C is for compile, please remember. Java C, capital H, hello.java, the name of our class, hello.java, and the name that we saved it with, hello.java, and we see compile. As you can see, it has compiled properly. So we go on to running the program and we write Java without the C. Remember, we only write Java, Java, and we write hello.java again to run it. HELLO.java with H capital, and then we press enter. There you go. We have our output, hello world. Congratulations, everybody has made their first program in Java. I hope everybody has reached this state till now. Okay, let's go proceed with the slides.
Previously we learned what actually a variable is and how is it used to store some value. Now Each variable that you define inside your code has to have a type, or rather a data type. A data type tells the computer what kind of values to be stored inside that particular variable. Is it a number? Is it some text message or whatever? We'll just run through our flowchart of data types quickly. Data types, as we can see, are of two types, primitive and non-primitive. We'll not go deep into what they are, we'll just touch them from the surface and move forward. Now, under the primitive type, you can see the Boolean and the numeric types. Boolean can just store two values. They are true and false. Nothing other than that. Now, the second type is numeric. As the name itself tells us that they will store numbers. In this, further we have characters and integrals. Character is any single character, be it a number, a letter from the alphabet, or even our special symbols like @ exclamation mark, question mark, etc. So why are they placed under the numeric category if they can hold letters as well? This is because every character has a number associated with it, which is basically a translation from human language to the computer language. You may have heard of the ASCII code or the Unicode. Yes, that's what we are talking about here. Now moving forward to the integral type, they contain pure numbers. In this also we have two types, integers and floating point numbers. Under the integer, we have byte, short, int, and long. They all store the same integer values, that is whole numbers along with the negatives. So what's the point in having 4 different types when all of them do the same work? The difference here is the range of values each type can contain. Byte has the smallest range, then short, then int, and then long has the widest range of values. The other type is floating point, and under it we have float and double. They both are used to store decimal numbers, and again they differ in the size and range of values. We won't be discussing much about the non-primitive types, but just for your information, string is used to store words, sentences, multiple characters basically, and arrays are used to store multiple values of the same primitive data type.
Time for learning operators in Java. Operators can be used according to the need of the user. They are classified based on the functionality that they provide. Some types of operators are arithmetic operators, unary operators, assignment operators, relational operators, etc. In this session, we'll be discussing about arithmetic operators. As you can see on the screen, there are operators like simple addition, subtraction, divide, and modulo. Modulo is also called mod. The slash is divide operator, which gives quotient as an answer, and the percentage sign that you can see is mod operator, which gives us remainder as an answer. It's time for second program. Let's do our second program. We've put the link in the chat box of the online compiler. You can always use that, or you can use the method that we showed on the command prompt. Right now we are going to use the online compiler as well. I suggest you do that so that you can type with us and be with us all the time. So let's get started. We go on to the online compiler. We remove whatever the basic is written and we start writing our own program. We start writing public class main. We name our class as main. As you can see here that the program is going to be saved as main.java. So we save our class name also as main with M capital. We start the scope. Then we write public static void main. As I told you before, what the meaning of public static void main is the entry point of the program. Then we write string args. Then we open the scope of the main method and write our declare our variables, or assign the value to our variables rather. Int a equal to 15, int b equal to 5. Since 15 and 5 are integer values, we give them data type as int. And then we write double result. We are taking another type of data type here, double, as you know that result can be in the form of decimal number. So we're using double. You can always use float, you can always use int, but we are just giving you an example here. So we are writing double result, and then we put semicolon, of course, to terminate the statement. Then we just simply write result equal to a plus b, just like c equal to a plus b, any kind of equation that we write. Then we print system.out.println, as I told you is the print statement. Then we write a plus b equal to, this we write in double inverted commas, as we want to, inverted, double invert, a plus b equal to, and then we write plus result to concatenate the result value with a plus b equal to. This will give us the output as a plus b equal to whatever the answer is. Here the answer will be 20, hopefully. So we'll get the answer. Then we similarly write it for subtraction, result equal to a minus b, semicolon. Then we write system.out.println a minus b equal to, as we want to print it as it is, we write it in double inverted commas. Then we write plus result to concatenate the result. Similarly, we write result equal to a asterisk b for multiplication. Remember, here multiplication is represented as asterisk or star. We don't use x or a cross sign to multiply. A asterisk or star b. Then we print that. Then we go on to division. Here we want the quotient as the result. So we write result equal to a slash b, a divided by b. And then we write system.out.println statement, and then we print the answer of a slash b. Then use for the remainder, we write result is equal to a mod b or the percentage sign b. And then we print that answer. There we go. We have our second program. Let's run it. That's great. We have the output here. We see that every operator has done its work, and we've gotten the answer to all the results. Moving on now.
Well, it's time for some more coding. In this program, what we're going to do is that we'll make a simple calculator performing basic plus, minus, multiply, and divide operations, just like we did in the previous program. But the difference here is that we're going to take the numbers from the user. This is called a user input program. In a user input program, you take input values from the person running your program. So let's proceed to our online compiler once again, and I'll recommend you to open both the windows side by side so you can watch me type the code and practice the code yourself simultaneously. Now let's start with the program. First, to allow the user input in our program, we'll use something known as a scanner class. A scanner class is a predefined or built-in class in Java that provides us with various methods to take input from the user. Now, we cannot just use this class directly. We'll first have to import this class from something known as a package. Packages are a collection of similar types of classes. They can be imagined as folders used to organize different files. The syntax to import the class is as follows. Import java.util.scanner. Here, the import keyword is used to import any class from any package. Java is the name of the language, obviously. .util. Util is the name of the package from which we are importing our scanner class. Here, the package name is utility. Util is its short. And then we write the name of the class which we want to import. If instead of a single class we want to import all the classes of the package, then we write simply the asterisk mark. But since here we just need the scanner class in our program, so we're going to write scanner. After that, we'll put the semicolon. start program class main. We'll open a scope, then we'll write public static void main. All of them have been explained to you previously. String args. Right. Then again we'll open our scope. So here we are going to take the input from the user. So for that we need to print a message that telling the user that at this point of the program he or she has to enter a value. So we'll print a message for the user, system.out.println, enter a number, then again semicolon. Now to use the scanner class we need to first create an object of the class scanner. So the syntax for it is you first write class name scanner, then you give a name for the object. Here I'm choosing SC, but you can take any name of yours, but please keep it simple. Scanner SC is equals to, now the new keyword here is used to define a new object. So scanner SC is equals to new, again we type the name of the class scanner. Now in parentheses we write system.n. System.n means we are telling the computer that at this point of program the computer has to take an input. System.n, n means input. Just like we wrote system.out.println where we are telling the computer to output something, here we are telling the computer that it will need to take an input from the user. Again we put the semicolon. Now we need to store the value entered by the user into a variable. So we'll declare a variable integer a is equals to. Now to take a user input, this syntax is used. First you type your object's name. Here I've chosen the name as SC. Then you put the dot operator and you write next int. Here next int is the name of the method used to take an integer value from the user. And again we'll put semicolon. Here instead of an integer, if I had chosen float, so here also I would have written next float. But since we are taking this a simple program, so we have to take an integer, and here also next int. Right. Now again it's time to take a second number from the user. So again we'll print a message telling the user to enter another number. Enter another number. Again we need to store this value inside a variable. We'll take the variable as v and sc.next int parenthesis symbol. Now we need to print all the four basic operations. So first we'll print the plus operation, a plus b, right. Then we'll print the difference of the two numbers, a minus b. Then we'll print the product of the two numbers, a asterisk b. Again keep in mind that the multiplication sign here is not our x or the cross sign, it's the asterisk mark. And at last we'll print the division. Again reminding you that the forward slash or the division operator here is used just to find out the quotient of the division. It won't give us the correct division in the decimal point. So first let's see is the program working correctly or not. So let's run a program. Yes, the program has been compiled. There are no syntax errors. So first we'll enter a number 30. Let's enter another number. We'll enter 20. Let's see if the output is correct. Here we can see that the plus, minus and multiplication answers are correct, but in the division we are getting just the quotient and not the complete division. we'll write float inside parentheses before the variable which you want to convert it into. So now again let's try. Let's run a program. Enter 130, another 120. Yeah, there you can see that we got a correct answer 1.5. So this is how typecasting works. Next up are control statements. The functionality of this statement can be known by the name itself. As the name suggests, they must be controlling something, right? We all have used remote controls many times in our lives. What do? They simply control the television or whatever device you're using it with. The remote control decides whether or not a channel will be watched. Well, actually it's us who decide, but without a remote control, we would not be able to control our TV. Similarly in Java, a control statement is a statement or a piece of code that decides whether or not the other statements will be executed. It basically controls the flow of the program, and thus the name control statements. Now, there are three types of control statements: selection statements or decision-making statements, iterative statements or the loops, and the jump statements. Out of these three, we'll be doing the selection statements in detail. We'll just discuss one of the iterative statements, that is the for loop, and we'll totally skip the jump statement. So basically we'll jump over the jump statements. Now the selection statements are also known as the decision making statements. Decision making in programming is pretty much similar to decision making in real life. For example, one of the most difficult decisions to make is what subject to choose after 10th. We analyze our potential and all the conditions, and based on which we make our decision. In programming also, we face some situations where, based on some condition, we need to execute a piece of code. The if statement and the switch statement help us do that. The if statement is used when we have a few options or conditions to check. If this happens, then do this, else do that. Now, there are many variations of the if statement. The best example of if statement can be the grading system. If you get marks between 90 to 100, grade A. Between 80 to 90, grade B, and so on. Now, the switch statement is an alternative of the if statement. Again, the question arises that why do we even use switch when we already have if? We use switch statement when we have a lot of options to choose from and make a decision from. We'll understand both these statements in detail with the help of programs.
Our first selection statement is if-else statement. As you can see the flow chart, we start the program, then we put a condition using if-else. Then if the condition is satisfied, then we go to the statement like print something or do something. Then the condition ends or the program ends. If the condition is not satisfied, then the condition ends directly or the program ends directly and we don't go through the statement. Other example of if-else is it's as simple as if we want to check a number, if a number is even or odd. If a number is even, we go to print statement that the number is even, else it will go to odd and we'll print that the number is odd. It's as simple as that. Let's get started with our program for if-else selection statement. I request you to go on to the online compiler as we are and remove the previous code and just start typing with me. We just write, we just declare our class main. Then we write public static void main as usual as we've been doing till now. I hope everybody is doing it with me. We start typing our program, we open the scope. Then we assign a value to ch. Ch is just a variable that we have used. It's just a choice. I've used shortened choice and that did ch. You can always use any kind of variable. You can use a name, even your a, b, c, d, anything you can use as a variable. So we write int ch equal to 5. I'm just declaring a value right now so that we don't have to take the input of the user right now. We're just doing it quickly. Then I write the condition if ch equal to 1. We are using two equal to signs as it's a relational operator. We want to compare the value of ch to 1. We want to check if it's equal to 1, so we write it twice. It's a syntax in Java. Then we open the curly braces, and write system.out. It's just a simple weekday program. Let me explain it to you. That if we type 1, if the choice is 1, then it will print the first day of the week, that is Monday. If the choice is 2, it will print the second day of the week, which is Tuesday, and so on. So for choice equal to 1, we print Monday. Then we close the braces. Then we write else if ch equal to 2. Then we write the system.out.println Tuesday. Remember, we are writing it in braces because it's a good habit, and also we can not use this braces till we are only passing one statement between the conditions. Like here only system.out.println Monday or Tuesday is just one statement. If there are multiple statements, we have to put the curly braces between all the conditions. All right. So let's go on to next, else if. Else if is used to pass another condition. So we are using else if. We write it for 3 Wednesday. You can always copy paste the code so as to make it quick. Then we write else if ch equal to 4 for Thursday. Then 5 for Friday. I hope everybody is typing with me. Then 6 for Saturday, our favorite day, and 7 for Sunday. I hope everybody is done typing till now. And now we write else. Else is for a default condition, that if condition does not work, then else will work. So for example, if you're taking a user input, then we can always write something like please type something between 1 to 7. It's just to make you understand. Here it's not needed because we are already giving a value to the ch variable. If we are taking a input from the user, then we need to pass a comment, like if they're going out of range, then we need to pass a comment that please write it between in this range or something like that. So I'm just using this else as that, and I'm writing system.out.println please type something between 1 to 7. If the user has not done that, this statement will be printed. I hope everybody has written the program. Now I'm gonna run it. Don't worry if you haven't written the program. You will see it soon on our YouTube link. The link will be provided to you. No content will be missed by you. So it's okay if you haven't written it. Just learn what you're seeing right now. So we are gonna run the program now, and as you can see, the value of ch was 5. So Friday is printed, as the 5th day of the week is Friday. That's great. Now let's change the value of ch to 8. We all know that 1 to 7 is only the range, so 8 is something out of the range. We should get an output something like please type something between 1 to 7. Let's see it. Let's run the program. Yes, there you go. We have the output of else statement, else condition, which was please type something between 1 to 7. That's great. We have made our another program, and which was of if else selection statement. Let's move on.
Now that we've seen the weekday program using if statements, let us quickly do the same program using the switch statement, and we'll see the difference and understand why switch is a better choice than if, when we have a lot of options to choose from. So let's proceed to our online compiler again. So in this program again, we're going to take a user input. Here the user is going to enter his or her choice, and based on that will produce an output. For example, if the user inputs 1, Monday should be printed. If he or she presses 2, Tuesday should be printed, and so on. So again, we'll have to use the scanner class here to take the user input, and the syntax to import scanner class from the utility package is as follows. Import java.util.scanner. Simple. Then we'll open our class me. Then we'll write public static void main string args, and open our scope again. So here again we have to give a message to the user, so he or she she comes to know that they have to enter a value at this point of the program. So we will print message system.out.println, enter a number between 1 to 7. To use the scanner class, we have to again create the object which we created in the last program as well. New scanner system.in to tell the computer that there is a user input at this point. And now to store the user's choice, we'll declare a variable named choice equals to ser object dot operator next int, the method to take an integer from the user. Again, semicolon. Now use the switch statement. The basic syntax is to write the switch keyword, and in the parentheses we need to write the choice variable, or the variable that is storing the user's choice. In this case, the name of the choice variable is choice itself. So we'll write the variable inside the parentheses and again open a scope. So here we need to write case 1. We write case 1 because our choice variable choice is declared as integer type. If in case we had declared it as character choice, here we would have taken inside single quotes either small a or capital A. But since we are just taking choice variable as integer, so here also we'll take case 1 and then we'll put a colon, come in the next line, and we'll print Monday, because in first case if the user presses 1, the output should be Monday. Then semicolon. After this we need to add another keyword which is known as the break. The break keyword is used for when if the user presses 1, the word Monday has been printed. So will the compiler or the program run through our entire code after that? So what break does basically is that if Monday is printed, if 1 has been pressed, Monday will be printed and the program will break from there and there only. So that's why break statement is used. Now similarly, case 2, we need to write this print statement 7 times. So we'll copy and paste it from the next line. Println Tuesday, semicolon again, break again. So let's copy paste because we will have to write 7 times. Copy this, paste it. Here we'll write Wednesday. Again, paste it. Thursday this time. Sorry, we need to change the case number as well. Case 3, case 4. Then again paste it. Case 5. Friday. Case 6. Saturday. Case 7. Sunday. Yes. Now, like in the last program, we use the else statement. So to tell the computer what if the user enters anything beyond 1 to 7. So here we do not have the else statement, but what we have is the default keyword. Here the default works in the same way as the else statements. If none of the cases above are chosen, then by default this case will be chosen. Default will write system.out.println will print wrong choice. Just to tell the user that the choice entered by him or her is wrong. And again we'll put the break statement. Yeah. So our program is complete now. let's just run our program to check if there are any syntax errors. No, there are no syntax errors, but let's see if the program works fine as per our requirement. So let's enter a number between 1 to 7. Let's enter 5. Friday should be printed. Let's see. Yes, Friday. The program is working correctly. So now let us run it once again for the default case and check if it's working 100% correctly or not. So let's enter 9. Wrong choice. Yes, the program is perfect. So let's proceed with the presentation. Now let's proceed to the second type of control statements, the iterative statements, also known as loops. Did you ever get a punishment in your childhood to write a certain sentence some 100 times? Sorry ma'am, this will not happen again. Sorry ma'am, this will not happen again. I used to get these punishments quite often in my childhood. What I used to do is I used to take 5 pencils, stack them up, tape them together, and use them as a single pencil. That way, I reduced my effort by 5 times. Similarly, what if we need to repeat certain statements in our program again and again? Do we keep on typing them? Obviously no. It's 2020 now. So now that's when loops come into play. They are basically those taped up pencils that help us reduce our effort in programming. They allow us to repeat a certain code as many times as we want. Now, there are 4 basic loops in Java: the for loop, the while loop, the do while loop, and the for each loop. But only the for and while loops are mostly used. The other two, do while and for each loop, are as important as for and while loop. Here, we'll just cover the for loop, and it is the most important one. We'll understand the for loop using the prime number program. A prime number is a number having just 2 factors, 1 and the number itself. A factor of a number, when divided by the number itself, gives 0 as a remainder, meaning it is completely divisible by the factors. So what we are going to do in this program is we'll check if a number, let's say 52, if it's a prime number or not. To do that, we'll have to check for the factors of 52. If there are 2 factors, 52 is a prime number, else it is not a prime number. To check the factors, we'll have to divide 52 by each of the number from 1 to 52 and check if the remainder is 0. For that, we'll be using the for loop. Now keep in mind again, without the loop, you would have to write the divide statement 52 times. So just reminding how important loops are in programming. So let's proceed with the program onto our online compiler. So we'll start by declaring our class main. We'll declare the main method as public, as static, as void, then main string args. Again open a scope. Now we'll store a number. In this case we are taking example 52 inside a variable. So let's name the variable n and we'll store 52 in it. Now we'll declare another variable named counter as 0. Now what this counter basically do is that it will count the number of factors of the number 52. We'll use the variable counter later in our program. So we'll just initialize it as 0 for the time. Now we'll write a for loop. The syntax for loop is to first write the for keyword, open the parenthesis, and then we'll have to initialize another variable. Now this variable is really important inside a for loop as it will tell us or the user that how many times will the for loop run. So we'll initialize another variable named I as 1 because we need to start dividing 52 from 1 till 52. So first value will be 1, again a semicolon, and then we'll give the termination condition. In this case we need to run this loop until the value of I reaches 52. So we'll write until I is since we have stored 52 inside the variable n, so we'll just write n. Again semicolon and I plus plus. I plus plus or I double plus is the increment operator. Now I plus plus is the post expression. What does this mean is that by what factor or by what number will the initialization variable, which is I in this case, will increase or decrease. In this case we need to increase the variable by 1 after every loop. So we'll just give the double plus operator. Now this is the basic syntax of for loop. Then again we'll open our scope. So what we want to do is we want to check for the factors of 52. So what is the factor again? A number completely divisible by 52. So we'll check if n 52 mod, the percentage operator or the modulus operator gives us the remainder of the division. So if n mod I, remember I will vary in every loop here. So for the first time i's value will be 1, the next time it will be 2 until it goes to 52. So we'll divide 52 by each number between 1 to 52. So now if the remainder equals to 0, double equals to is a relational operator which compares the LHS and the RHS. So if this is true, then again open a scope and we'll update the value of the counter. Again reminding, counter is the variable which counts the number of factors. So we'll write counter plus 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 plus. Again we'll update the value of counter by 1. So basically we are counting the number of factors inside this if statement. Then we'll come out of the if statement. We'll also come out of the for loop. Now we'll have to check if the number of factors are 2 or not. So if the number of factors are 2, again equals to is a relational operator comparing the LHS and the RHS. If the counter equals to 2, then the number is prime. So we'll print a message saying the number is prime. Else, if the value of counter is less than 2, greater than 2, it cannot be less than 2. So we'll print system, and out of println we'll print not a prime number. The number is not prime. So let's run our program and check the output is correct or not. The number is not prime. 52, as we know, it's not prime. So let's check for a prime number as well. Let's give it 19 and let's run a program. The number is prime. The program is working perfectly.
Now coming to the method. As we have seen in mathematics, we studied about functions. For example, f of x is equal to x square is a function that returns a squared value of x. Similarly, in Java, a function is a block of code. Method is also known as function, and it is a block of code that performs a specific task and returns the result to the caller. A block of code which only runs when it is called. You can pass the data, known as parameters, into the method. Now, why do we use methods? We use these methods to reuse the code without retyping the code, as it makes our code very efficient, as we don't have to write the code again and again. We can use the previously written code again and again, so it makes our code very efficient. Now coming to Java static method. If you apply static keyword with any method, it is known as static method. A static method belongs to the class rather than the object of a class. The method can be evoked without the need of creating an instance of a class or an object of a class. And the method can access static data members like variables and can change the value of it. As you can see here, that in this class, my method is the static method. And here we are just calling, in the main method, we are just calling the main method by using parenthesis and semicolon. We are just calling it, and we are not using any kind of object to call it. Please remember that in static, whenever the method is declared as static, we don't have to declare or call any kind of object to it. Okay, so this is what was static method.
Now we've seen the first way to call a method without creating an object. Now we'll see the other way in which an object has to be created in order to call a function. Calling a function basically is using the statements written inside the function whenever we call it. For that, first you'll need to create an object of the same class you're working in. The syntax for which is as follows. First you have to write the class name followed by the object name. You can choose any object name you want. Then is equal to, and you'll write the new keyword. The new keyword is used to create a new object, and then again you write the class name you're working in and end with a semicolon. Now once you've created an object, you'll use the dot operator to call the function, the syntax for which is given below. First you will have to write the object name followed by the dot operator, then again followed by the method you want to call, followed by parentheses, and then end with the semicolon. Now some of you might have noticed that we have been doing this exact same thing a couple of times in this session without even knowing about it. Can you guess? Right. When we used the scanner class, we created an object sc, remember? And then we used the same object to call a method of the scanner class. Yes, nextInt was the method we called. Now we've learned about the methods and how to call them. Let's learn what parameters are and what's the importance of the return statement. Parameters are nothing but the variables used inside a method. They are generally specified after the method's name within the parentheses. You can have as many parameters as you want, just separate them with a comma. Return statement is a jump statement which is used to exit a method with a value. If we use the return statement, we can exit the method with a value in our hand. If we do not use the return statement, we won't be having any value with us when we exit the method. This value which we have once we exit the method is of the same data type the method has been declared of. As we can see here, the class name is my class. We declared a method of the integer type my method, and we passed an argument or a parameter integer x inside it. Then inside the method we are returning a value 5 plus x. So whatever be the value of x, the method will return a value 5 greater than the value of x. So now in the main method, remember all the methods are called inside a main method. Now in the main method we are calling the my method with passing an argument 3. So this basically means that the value of x here we are passing it as 3. So my method will now return 5 plus 3, which is 8. So the output will be 8. So that was pretty much it about parameters and the return statement. We're also done with the theory part, and now we'll be proceeding towards making a first project in Java, which is a number guessing game. In this game, the computer will itself choose a random number between 1 to 100, and we will then have to guess it. The player gets 5 turns to guess the number correctly. The first time you get to guess a number, the range you will have to choose from will be 1 to 100. If you guess it correctly, you are a magician. But if you don't, then the range of the numbers will keep getting shorter and shorter, giving you more and more chances of winning the game. The game gets over once you have no lives left. So let's proceed to make a game.
Now let's get started with our project. As discussed by Murtaza, it's a secret number project that is going to be generated by the computer, and we have to guess the number. We'll have 5 chances. Let's get started. So again, we'll start by importing the scanner class. We write import java.util.scanner. I hope everybody is on the online compiler. We write import java.util.scanner to import the scanner class from util package. Then we write class main. I hope everybody knows why we've written class main now. Then we open the scope. We write public static void main string args, as we've been doing till now. I hope everybody knows the meaning of it. If anybody has any kind of questions, please put it in the chat box. We'll be answering them soon. Now we will again open the scope using curly braces, and then we use a secret number as a variable and initialize the value as 0. Int secret number is equal to 0. I hope everybody is typing with me. It's gonna be a really fun game. Everybody has to catch on. It's really fun. I hope everybody likes it. Let's continue. We wrote in secret number is equal to 0. Then we write double j is equal to math.random. Math.random is a math class. It is going to be used. It's a method that is going to be used to generate random numbers from the computer side. It'll generate numbers between 0.0 to 1.0. I'll tell you how we'll convert that into numbers between 1 to 100. I hope everybody has written double j equal to math.random. Then put a semicolon. Then we take secret number equal to int. Just like Murtaza told us, we're going to typecast it as double. So I forgot to tell you that double, we have taken j as double because math.random always gives a double value. So it always gives 0.02 value between 1.0. So we have to take it as double. So we typecast it to int in secret number equal to int, and then we multiply j star 100 so that whatever the value is, it will be converted to the value between 1 to 100 and not 0.0 to 1.0. So that's why we convert it into j into 100. Now we take another variable guess, which is the variable that we are going to store our value in it and the value which we guess. So let's initialize that also as int guess equal to 0. Here we have done that. Now we'll take int low is equal to 1. I'll tell you what this low and high is. Please write it with me right now. We'll take int low is equal to 1 and high is equal to 100. This is the range that we want our number to be, and we want the secret number to be. So we are taking low and high as the range. So low is 1 and high is 100. System.out.println, we can always beautify our code. So I'm writing welcome to the number guessing game. You can write anything. You can write welcome to my game, welcome to say Isha Chouhan's game. You can always beautify your code. Then we again write system.out.println, guess the number between 1 to 100. We know that the range is 1 to 100. Now we again write the print statement and we tell the user that you have 5 turns. So we type you have 5 turns. We print that. It's fun always to make it more challenging. So you can always have 3 turns or 2 turns depending on whatever you like. We have taken 5 turns. Now we make the scanner object so as to take the input from the user. Scanner sc equal to new scanner system.in. We hope that you know what this statement means by now. We are just taking a input from the user. That input will be the guess number. Now we take a for loop. As discussed by Murtaza, for loop is used to run a program in a loop or iterate a loop. So we take int I is equal to 0 because we want to start from 0. You can always start from 1, but we're starting it from 0. Then we put semicolon and then we keep a condition of I is less than 5 because we want to run it for 5 times. So it will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 is less than 5, so it will run till then and it will stop. So it will run for 5 times because we need 5 turns. Then we put I++, and I++ means we increment the value of I with 1. So I, for example, if I is 1, it will I++ will make it 2. I will be equal to 2 then. Then I++ will make it equal to 3. Something like that. Then we start the scope again. And for this scope will be for loop. So anything inside this scope will run for 5 times. because we have written it inside the for loop, which is going to run for 5 times. Then we, inside the scope, we write system.out.println, enter your guess, because we want a guess from the user. Then we write guess equal to sc.nextInt to take the input from the user. Guess equal to sc.nextInt. Now we write the condition, bigger condition, if guess is greater than equal to 1 and guess is less than equal to 100. So this and is used to check both the conditions. It will check if guess is equal to and greater than 1, and it will check if guess is less than equal to 100. It will check both, and if both is true, then only the if condition will apply, and even if one of them is false, the if condition will not apply and it will directly go to else. So double and is used for this purpose. Now we open once again the scope, and then inside of this, if the above condition is satisfied, then this condition will check, and we write if guess is equal to secret number. Then inside of this, we again open a scope. If you don't want to open a scope, it's okay, because we are only writing one statement inside of it, and that is system.out.println. You win, because if guess is equal to secret number, you'll directly win. You have guessed the number in the first go only. So we will write you win, and you have guessed the correct number. And then we write the break statement to break this statement, and then go on to the next thing. So system.out.println, you win, you have guessed the correct number.
Now, not everyone will get the guess correct in their first go, so obviously you will have to define the conditions, whether if the guess is less or greater than the secret number. So let's do that. Outside the inner if scope, we'll write else if the guess is less than the secret number, less than secret number. Then we'll open our scope again, and here we'll have to change the lower bound of our range. So we'll update the value of low as low equals to guess plus 1. So for example, if the secret number is say 80 and your first guess is 50, so now the computer will have to give you a new range, an updated range. So the lower bound of the range will be guess. Your guess is 50 plus 1. So now you'll have to guess your number between 51 to 100. So that's what basically we're doing here. Then again we'll type the semicolon, and we'll print that sorry, your guess is incorrect, because we need to tell the player your guess is incorrect. In the next line, we show the new range to the user or the player. We'll type guess a number between, then we'll type the plus operator or the concatenation operator, then we'll write low. Remember now the value of low has been updated to guess plus 1, so we'll write between low. Again we'll type the plus operator, write 2, between 2, again the plus operator, and we'll write high. Then we'll type the semicolon again, and after that we need to tell the player how many turns are left for him or her to play with. Then we'll write you have, then we'll again write plus. Here we have to declare a formula for what will be the number of turns remaining after the user guesses incorrectly. So here, since we can see that the variable I is the only thing changing again and again, so we can make a formula using the I variable. So here we can do 5 minus I minus 1. So for the first time the value of I will be 0. So if the user guesses incorrectly for the first time, so the number of turns will be left 4. So let's check with a formula. Value of I will be 0. 5 minus 0 minus 1 is 4. So the formula is correct. Again the plus operator, right, turns left. Right, then we close our parenthesis, semicolon. Now this is the condition for if the guess is less than the secret number. Now similarly we'll have to define a condition for if the guess is greater than the secret number. For example, if the secret number is 70 and you guess 80, so we'll have to update the range again. We'll have to tell the user to guess a number between the new range, and we'll again have to tell the user number of turns left. So outside the scope we again write else if guess is greater than secret number. And we open a scope again. Here we'll have to update the value of our higher bound or the upper bound. So here we'll have to update the value as high equals to guess minus 1. Now we did in the lower case we did low equals to guess plus 1 because we need to update the range, and in this case we'll have to update it by declaring guess high equals to guess minus 1. So again semicolon, and we'll print again these three same statements. So I'll just copy paste them, and we'll come out of this scope, which is the else if scope, and we'll also come out of this bracket, which is the bigger if scope. So we'll come out of that. Now this if was declared to check if the number entered by the user is between 1 to 100. Now if the number entered by the user is not between 1 to 100, so we need to tell the user that he or she has to enter a number between 1 to 100 and his or her choice is wrong. So we'll just write else here. If the number is not between 1 to 100, we'll print please enter something between 1 to 100. We'll write please enter a number between 1 to 100, and again we'll put the semicolon. Now outside the for loop, now if the user guesses the secret number correctly, we've put a break statement there so as to come out of the for loop. Now what if the user guesses all the 5 turns incorrectly? So we'll have to terminate the game after 5 chances. So outside the for loop we'll write game over, because we obviously cannot give the player infinite chances. So after 5 chances the game will automatically end. We'll write game over. After saying that, we'll also have to tell the user the secret number. Not print ln, we'll say the correct number was plus secret number. So if the user guesses all the 5 times incorrectly, then we'll obviously terminate the game and tell the user or the player what actually the secret number was. Then again we put the semicolon. So here our code is complete. So let us run through our code once again quickly. First we import the scanner class so as to take the user input. Then we declare a class. Then public static void main string arg, the main method we declare. Then we declare a variable integer secret number. This secret number will hold the random value between 1 to 100 generated by the computer. Then we declare a variable double j equals to math.random. Now math.random returns a value between 0 and 1. So basically it will be a decimal value. That's why we're storing it in a double variable. Then to convert this value between 1 to 0 to 1 into a value between 1 to 100, we'll multiply it by 100 and also we'll typecast it into an integer. So secret number equals to integer j into 100. Now we'll also initialize a variable guess. This variable will store the guess of the user or the player. Then we'll declare the lower bound and the upper bound of our range from which the user has to guess a number. So here the lower bound is 1 and higher bound is 100. So the user has to guess a number between 1 to 100. Then we'll just write some print statements to welcome the user for our game. Guess a number between 1 to 100, your 5 turns. We'll just basically are telling him the rules of the game. Then we'll declare an object of the scanner class so as to allow user input. Then now the main logic starts. We'll write a for loop for integer I equals to 0, I is less than 5. Now this basically means that we want to run the for loop for 5 times. Then I plus plus the post expression to increase the value of I by 1 each time the loop ends. Then now we need to tell the user that at this point of time he or she has to enter a guess a number. So we'll print a statement, enter a guess, then we'll store the guess of the user inside the variable guess we just declared. Now we'll have to check that if the user has entered a number between 1 to 100. So for that we'll write an if statement. If guess is greater than equal to 1, and double end again used to check if both the statements on the LHS and the RHS of the double end are true. If both of them are true, then only the statements under this if statement will be executed, or else they won't be executed. Even if one of them is false, the statements won't be executed. So we'll check our range, and if after that if the guess of the user is equal to the secret number, then obviously the user wins. So we'll print you win, you've guessed the correct number. Then we'll break the loop. We'll break the loop so as to end the game after the user guesses correctly. Now what if the user guesses incorrectly? So we'll have to declare a condition for that as well. So here we'll write else if guess is less than secret. If the guess is less than secret number, then we'll update the range. Then we'll show him the new range. Here it's system.out. Then we'll tell him the number of turns left, and similarly if the guess is greater than secret number, then we'll update the range again by high equals to guess minus 1. Then again we'll tell him the number of turns left, and after that we come out, and if the user hasn't entered something between 1 to 100, then a print statement will tell him that please enter a number between 1 to 100, so as to tell the user that his or her input is wrong. Now after that we come out of the for loop so as to terminate the game. Then after 5 chances, if the user guesses all the 5 chances incorrectly, then we'll over the game for him or her, and we'll at the last we'll tell him or her the secret number. So that was the code basically. Let us check our code by running it. So I'll click on run. Let's see if it compiles. Yes, so there are basically no syntax errors, but let's see if there are any logical errors in our code. So here it says welcome to the number guessing game, guess a number between 1 to 100, you have 5 turns, enter guess. We also do not know what the number has been generated by the computer, so we'll just take a random guess. Let's see, 53, enter. Sorry, your guess is incorrect, guess a number between 1 to 52. So basically our guess was greater than the secret number, that's why the value of high has been updated to 52 from 100. So now we have 4 turns left and we have to choose a number between 1 to 52. So let's go for 27. Again our guess is incorrect. Again our guess is higher than the secret number, so the range has been updated to 1 to 26. Now we have 3 turns left, so let's go for 16. Okay, so your guess is again correct, guess number between 17 to 26. So here our guess is greater than the less than the secret number. So that's why our range has been updated again, 17 to 26. We have 2 turns left. Now we'll enter another guess. Let's go for 21. It's again incorrect. Now we have just one turn left. Guess a number between 17 to 20. So we have basically 4 numbers and one turn to choose from. So let's go for 19. Let's guess 19. Oh, so the guess was incorrect. Guess number between 17 to 18. Sorry. Game over. The correct number was 17. So you can always play this game again and again, but we'll never know how the computer generates the random number, and we'll also never know what number does it generate until the game is over. So that was basically our simple number guessing game. Hope you enjoyed.
That was a really fun game. I hope everybody had fun. I hope we have answered all the questions and cleared all the doubts. You can always find this content later. Don't worry if you have missed anything. We had a lot of fun, Murtaza and I. I hope you had it too. It's us signing off now. Bye-bye. Take care.